Oh boy, the
When
Zoom gods,
the poetry gods were
the
not.
poetry gods are angry at you.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck you did, but
Mm.
yes, I'm speaking English. Let me confirm your language. Okay,
I,
thank you, Joan. Thank
I
you,
read
Joan,
it.
for your information.
Thursday the 17th.
Okay, Ron, I'll have you read as number 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, you're high on the list anyway.
Well, I'm trying to say hello to people on the chat and I can't do it. So everybody I know, hello.
And those you don't.
And those I don't, hello.
Well, it says we're live streaming, even though it's not telling people, which it's supposed to.
Oh, God.
It did tell me that.
You want me to start the reading, Rox?
No,
Roxy,
I have to
Roxy,
start the
are you
recording.
gonna send
Okay.
a link? Are you gonna send a link to her email?
Unless I can send it to you and you can share it however you want, okay?
I don't
Just
know
give
how
me
to
a
share
minute.
it.
Just give me a minute, okay?
I don't know how to share it.
You don't know how to share it. You forward it.
You can text
I
it
can
to her.
start? Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Brownstone Poets. It's a sunny, hot day here. This is the last reading until before we start our hiatus.
Patty?
Yeah?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I need a moment because I have to
Okay,
the
gotcha,
link.
gotcha.
Sorry, but you have to wait. Okay.
I thought you gave me the high sign.
No.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Can you get your link to go to Zoom at all? Because we use it all the time.
It's 85 degrees here in New York.
Well, the best is yet to come.
Yes. I'm going to be dying tomorrow.
Get out early with whatever you have to do.
I don't know. Maybe I should do the early shift and get out by 3. What do you think? Or should I do the 3 to 7 shift?
It's going to be over 100 about 4 or 5 o'clock. So I suggest.
Chocolate?
Yes.
I pasted the live stream link into the chat. I don't know if you see it.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, so maybe you can just copy that and forward it to her because I don't know what her email is or her phone number.
Yeah, I can give you the phone number. That might be easier because I don't know how to do this.
Is it a cell phone that I can
Yeah, it's a cell phone. It's 859.
Can you just put it in the chat so I can copy
I'll
it?
try it. Yeah. I don't know how to use anything. I've forgotten everything I know about Zoom.
Okay, got it.
Stop
All right, let me try to send it to her now.
He's texting the live link to you now.
Yeah, no wonder you're wearing a sweater, Margaret.
it.
Margin.
Yeah, it's
55
cool
degrees,
and
I'd be
raining.
freezing.
Yeah, no, it's really lovely. I like it, but you know.
Let's have a lot of greenery because Portland's supposed to be gorgeous. I watch
Yeah.
on TikTok. There's a real estate guy. He shows all these gorgeous homes in different neighborhoods.
Yeah, yeah, and it's called the Rose City. So when you walk down the street, you smell roses. Everybody grows roses. It's just
God,
beautiful.
it's like
It's
paradise.
Okay.
really lovely. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, hold on.
I've sent her the live. I texted it to her, so hopefully she'll see it and get on.
All right, well, I'm texting with her now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think we're ready to start.
We're ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Brownstone Poets and beautiful, hot and mushy Brooklyn. We're here for poetry. The sun is out. It's not pouring. We don't have the thunder boomers I've had a few days ago and the tornado. But we're here and it's always sunshine here on Brownstone Poets. We have three fabulous speakers today. Mia S. Willis, Chocolate Waters, and Keisha Gay Anderson. And we got a fabulous open mic here. 3 minutes, guys. When people are reading, please mute. And the features get 50 minutes each. We're going to start with about 10 open micers, and then we're going to have features one. That'll be Keisha, and number two, Chocolate. And then we're going to have a 15-minute break. And when Roxy comes back, we're going to have feature number three, who will be Mia. And then the rest of the open. We have the chat room. Feel free to use it to promote your books, your upcoming features, and positive input for everyone's poetry. We don't want any negativity here. There's plenty of it outside the Zoom room here. Trust me. So we're going to start. We have people have to leave early. We have John McMullen will be number one. After John, we're going to have Amy Barone read. And then we're going to have Kim Brandon, Ron Bremer, Cindy Hockman, Elizabeth Moss. Did Caroline come? I guess she's not here.
Mm-mm. I didn't see it.
Mona here. We have Karina and Beth, Harvey, and Michelle will be reading. Okay, we're going to please mute. We're going to have John McMullen to start the day. Take it away.
Okay, two quick announcements. I've deleted a letter in yesterday's Daily News next to a picture of Adolf Hitler, if people still have it. And I will be leaving early, but it's not that I'm bored. It's that I have to do therapy from a broken hip. Okay, questions for today. Military in the cities, and an indecipherable president who would be regent sleeps during his parade as though he were at the Pope's funeral in his blue suit while 5 million protest in the street. Scads of non-criminal immigrant support of Ezra Lazarus, words forgotten, while Our Lady of the Harbor weeps. Whatever happened to the America of the Civil Rights Revolution, the sexual revolution, gay revolution, other movements toward true democracy? I broke my hip. Donald Trump's America is breaking my heart. When will it get better? Will it get better? I will walk again. Will America? My vow. It's been 6 months, half a year since my self-caused accident. In that time, I've had hope surgery, spent 5 days in a hospital, spent 100 days in a rehab facility, had 3 months of home therapy, and I still hobble around using devices. But now I'm going out of the house to therapy at my sport club and also exercising at home. I know that my 50 years of half-court basketball with jump shots and hard drives to the basket are long over. There will be 40 accidents. After all, I'm 85 years old, but I was a spry 85. So my vow is that by the anniversary of the accident on November 10th, I'll be a spry 85, walking around on my own two legs in pre-accident cane due to 20 years ago basketball with no walker, rollator, or wheelchairs. And it's up to you to hold me to it. And the last one showing Donald Trump goes to Rome. At U.S. taxpayer expense, Donald and Melania Trump just came to Rome. Why? To attend the funeral of Pope Francis. Why? To join in praise of the saintly life of Pope Francis, a life in dire opposition to yours. To hear prayers of his concern for the poor, war-ravished, hungry, and migrants, people you cared nothing about. To join in the pomp and ceremony. You were the only roan-colored men's suit, blue instead of black. You were noticeably asleep during the funeral. You and Melania were the only ones to walk on the holy rug. It would have been an embarrassment if you did not come. It was more an embarrassment that you did. Thank you for putting up with me.
Okay, I'm going to read a short poem from my new manuscript, Tree Songs. This is called Blue Fields. I find forsythia and bluebells sprouting near home, far from local and global strife that's churning nerves. In a nature preserve close by, across 4 miles, spice bush, toad shades, and yellow lady slippers blanket warming grounds alongside creeping Jacob's ladders and shooting stars. In the Bluebonnet state of Texas, a festival in Ennis celebrates 40 miles of wild flowers and fields of blue, wine cups, black-eyed Susans, and Indian paintbrush. Along 500,000 acres in Tennessee, fire pinks, bleeding hearts, and Jack in the Pulpits join trillium, columbines, and dwarf-crested irises to form a natural monument, an oasis of peace. Thank you.
We need that in an oasis of peace. Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much, Amy. Yes, we need it. Ron, Burma, unmute and share. I'm sorry. I mean, Kim Brandon. And then after Kim will be Ron Brema. Okay.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to read. Looking forward to the features. And I'm from the chorus. I'm from a long line of lies and betrayals. I'm from not knowing the worth of a pound of flesh. I'm from children crying with swollen, empty bellies. I'm from the unanimousness of a country that gifts welfare cheese but no humanity. I'm from the hearts that sing off key while begging for substance. I'm from tents once filled with treasures. I'm from the original people who trusted too many too often. I'm from pistols in my ancestors' back. I'm from chains and auction blocks. I'm from yesterday and afterbirth. I'm from my grandmother's screams. I'm from my mother's never-ending thirst for satisfaction. I'm from her lackluster marriage, y'all. I'm from that little singing group my mother formed when we were little ones. I'm from hiding out, too shy to belt out those Jesus loves you songs of glory. I'm from everything pretending to be nothing. I'm from the chorus, the original backup lip singer. I'm from Kim, you ain't singing that song loud enough. And I'm from that ain't your note. And I'm from we still can't hear you, goddamn it. I'm from having sisters who perform the gospel better. I'm from finally learning the words to the songs. I'm from the past pretending to be the future. I'm from getting it right long after Mama went to glory. I'm from finding my new voice, bigger than the ripples of echoes in the Grand Canyon. I'm from another earth, and Father's time, praise dances and bare feet. I'm from the Black church. I'm from Make 'em Proud, child. I'm from sweeping through the city. I'm from this little light of mine. I got a long, long, long way to go if I want to be like the Lord. Thank you.
Wonderful, Kim. Kim, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Ron Brema. After Ron, we're going to have Cindy. Ron, unmute and share.
Okay. This one was published in Lips magazine, Loops has been around for over 30 years, and some people who or have been in it are Allen Ginsberg, Toy Derricott, Gregory Corso. I've been very lucky to have been in it 4 times. This is when I was in my teens. Most everything frightened me. The world, my cruel master, mocked and tormented me. A scary, scary place and time. In my 20s and 30s, everything thrilled and titillated me. The world was mine, to be held on a string, done with as I pleased. Now, in my old age, everything slides past me. I am on a train, the train of life, and fleeting images of landscapes and buildings pass by with no interference from me. The world bores me, and I usually ignore it. It says to me, "Hey, you, look at me. I am the world. You can't ignore me." But I don't pay attention. And soon it passes by, and the next image or sound attempts to attract me, but almost always fails. Thanks and have a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you, Ron. Great poem as usual. Congratulations. Thank you. Cindy, take it away.
Well, if you're in Brevitas, you've heard this poem ad nauseum. It's called Sign Seen at Protest Rally during Trump's self-aggrandizing and ridiculous military birthday parade. The title is longer than the poem. And I want to let you know I didn't really see this sign. I made this whole thing up before the rally, so it's not a found poem. So that's the title. No kings, no kings, absolutely no kings here in the USA. However, Jewish American princesses are more than welcome and highly encouraged. And on the head one, on the head chat. That's it.
I love it, Cindy. Yeah. Okay. After Cindy, okay, we're gonna have Saturday is coming up. Elizabeth is not Saturday unless Elizabeth Moss is in the house. Take it away, girl.
Okay, this is from my new book, Unreasonable Weather. Wishbone. A wish is a shiny pebble you can toss into the ocean. It can endure more than you'll ever know. A wish is chocolate ice cream eaten on the boardwalk where you hold hands with someone you've longed for. A wish is dancing bits of mirror. It can last for years, decades, when unloaded into the freezer, but there is no preserving its wings. A wish is your arthritic fingers reaching for the book you're reading. The pages are strewn with leaves, dreaming the desire of slowing clocks. A wish is the winter wind pushing you to go inside. You can toss it into the fire where it talks to plumes of smoke. A wish is for next year when you'll find a wishbone in your soup, when you are seeking rubies like cranberries and sapphires of blueberry desire. A wish is a light on the ice. It dances and shimmers in the cold. It can endure more than you'll ever know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy Saturday. We're now going to welcome Karina Lopez. Welcome. Unmute and read. And after her, be Beth and Harvey and Michelle Herman. Take it away. Take it away, Karina.
Thank you, Patricia. Good afternoon. This poem is called Brown, Black, White, and Me. I, not brown enough in appearance, not black enough to relate, not white enough because look at all my ancestors' gifts. I, a Mesoamerican of Mayan, Indian, African, and Spanish descent. A blend with nations rivaling with one another. With all this hate in me, how do I love so hard? I, a multifaceted identity, too obscure on the eyes, too complex for identifiers and checkboxes. Without typology, they call me hybrid. I am mixed. I stay in the median, but without denying all this genealogy and all the stories of pride, pain, and power. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Come again. Fantastic. Yeah. A lot is going on now. Okay. Thank you, Karina. Next up be Beth. And then after Beth be Harvey and Michelle. And we're going to end with Gear Austin for this round, I think. Yeah. Okay. Take it away, Beth.
Hi, everyone. You can hear me today, right?
Yeah.
Goody gums. First of all, I have to give a shout out to Patricia and to Roxanne for helping me deliver a wonderful, wonderful book launch last month for a Yellow Notebook, which I'm going to read from today. I can't thank both of you enough for your support of my work. So thank you so much. Okay, if you weren't there at the launch, a Yellow Notebook is a collaborative hybrid, which is a combination of my father's writings, typically in the last few months of his life of a 10-year battle with chronic heart disease, and integrated with my poems. And one of the poems that I'm going to read today is also a summer poem, because we're right now at the beginning of summer, and because in a few weeks it will be the anniversary of my late sister's death, for whom the book is dedicated. And also in honor of Patricia, because she was an invited guest who chose this poem as one of her faves from the book. So this is for you, Patricia. And by the way, I got tremendous raves on your delivery, so I hope to match it. Okay. You'll hear first my father's words from his notebook and then the poem. In my lifetime, I've been a user of beaches, ranging from Coney Island up to Massachusetts, the private country units, all the way down the Jersey Shore, the coast from the Highlands, Atlantic Highlands to Wildwood. Dave's Notebook, 1977, and here's the poem, The Whistler. Marlene and I spent summers on the beach at Lake Hopatcong, listening to Nat King Cole on our portable, lathered in baby oil, faces tilted to the sun, my sister smoking her purloined Pall Malls. My father was a whistler, pop songs, operatic arias, all 4 movements of Beethoven's Fifth. He would walk to the edge of the front lawn and whistle. One trumpet-like blast, followed by a trilled coda that carried more than a mile down the road. A signal that brought us up from the beach, up the hill in time for dinner. My sister died last summer, recovering from successful surgery. They weren't certain how it happened. Doctors told us it was probably her heart, just like her father. Except it wasn't like his death. She died in her sleep, alone. But that night, I know he stood at the edge of the hill and whistled her home. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for the shout out. It was an honor reading for you. Thank you. Beautiful book.
And honor back at you.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Harvey Sauce, Michelle Herman, Gear Austin. Okay, Harvey, unmute and share.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just call your attention to an invitation that I posted in the chat to next Saturday, next Sunday's Artful Dodgers poetry reading. It's going to be online, and the links are in the chat. This one is called The Last 7 Words of Icarus. Pasiphae is the mother of the Minotaur and the wife of King Minos of Crete. Last 7 words of Icarus. Wax, said Daedalus, delighted with his inventiveness, past creator of Pasiphae's wooden cow in the labyrinth. When his son pointed out that wax melts, recalled from a candle meets flame experiment gone wrong, an ill-advised attempt to drip hot wax on an ant colony that brought the fire brigade running, the science guy reflexively drawing back as if stung, the great man's "Don't talk while you eat, child," closing the subject at the dinner table, where matters of science were routinely discussed. To think that he would do anything to hurt his chip off the old, his protege, chosen pilot of his imagination. His wife, reminded of last year's anniversary gift, pearled wax earrings intact only until she had bent over a hot stove. Now you see them, now you don't. Dropped to her knees to beg Helios and Apollo not to melt her offspring, please. More familiar with her husband's not infrequent overreaching than the young man was. The takeoff, it must be said, was a thing of beauty, the father watching proudly while his son ascended, whooping and swooping before gaining height amid a misunderstanding of ravens, the appearance of birds of prey croaking nevermore in pigeon Greek, an ill omen of what would happen that day. Nor Mrs. Science Guy, offering both the sun and the god of light a white bull or a roll in the hay, fearing that immortals routinely laughing down at man might tear the wings off her boy just because they can. As children have been known to tear the wings off a fly, praying to every Olympian she could think of that her Icky might not suffer her earrings' fate. Her husband's plans riddled with ifs and buts, she held her breath the wax would hold. That Gaia, past president of the PTA, would provide a safety net, trusting that this first-class passenger offloaded from her womb hadn't used up all his frequent flyer miles yet. The flight plan was supposed to be low, slow, and steady as she goes, but what teenager ever entirely honors his parents' wishes? Icarus, the first Cretan to embrace an extreme, a one-off intent on flying fast and high, taking it all in, as a hormonally turbocharged Hindu might when thumbing through the Kama Sutra, his look ma top of the world attitude and altitude lowering the odds of his ever landing securely in his mother's arms. Bird droppings likelier to find a welcoming tarmac than her child when the wax gave way and the ground rose up. A miscalculation beyond the palliative effects of kissing the boo-boo. Sun meeting sun with its knockout punch. Contest between heroes, Greek versus Trojan, never being so one-sided as this one was. Hubris grabbing Daedalus by their short hairs and giving them a tug. The missus fainting, melted wax in her hair, divorce on her lips. And on Icarus's, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget, guys, it's in the chat room. Sign up. He has a great reading. Harvey's reading is always wonderful. Next up, we have here Michelle Herman. Welcome. Please mute and share. We can't hear you. Michelle, we can't hear you. She's got a problem. We can't hear her. We can't hear you. Oh, goodness. We can't hear you.
You want to just skip her and go back to her?
Yeah. We'll come back to you, Michelle. We can't hear you. You're something wrong with your audio.
Yeah, she's not muted.
Strange. There's something. Her audio is off, or maybe she should mute her screen and darken.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
now we hear you.
Okay, all right. I made an adjustment. Sorry about that. Sorry to take time. Okay. Thanks everybody. Thanks Patricia. Thanks Roxanne for inviting me. I'm gonna read a poem that goes out to all the people who are hot today. It's called Every Dog Has Its Day. My friend and I found ourselves at the beach alone the day after a summer storm. The pebbles in the parking lot turned to moonstones set in mud. The sky at once dark and light, our hair in a frenzy. I don't remember whether we had hoped to swim in the pool or hadn't packed our suits and towels, but I do know that occasionally the moon exerts her power. Have you ever watched a passive person grow suddenly outspoken? Or maybe you've been the shy one, yearning to wake up bold? Maybe your friend, who could use a hand herself, is the type to console you with her funny, old-fashioned sayings. We walked across the squishy, branch-scattered lawn, past the diving pool, to the low stone wall above our poor strip of rocky Long Island Sound, a muscle-choked, seaweed-smelling body that could barely rouse itself to lap at our ankles. And there we met another beach altogether, giddy, body slamming the wall and leaping upright like motorcycle jackets tossed in the air, finally leaping over the wall, smack onto us, slicking our hair, saturating our t-shirts and shorts, our sneakers, underpants, and bras, and you'd think it would shock and chill, but it was warmer than the air, and magic of the sort that only comes a few times in this life. We opened our arms and lifted our faces to receive the breakers, and we laughed as the waves grew even bolder and cannonballed into the chlorinated pool. We laughed because we'd wished this wish so many times that our puny sound might grow into an ocean. Laughed because we were the only two who knew. Eventually, we headed back home, soaking the fabric seats of my mother's green Nova, teeth chattering, flesh tingly tight, still laughing because the laws of nature and the laws of life in Connecticut had loosened their hold, and we were strong and salty girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great poem. Thank you. Come again.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to end this round with Gear Austin. After Gear, we're going to come with the two features, number 1 and 2, and then the break. Gear, unmute and share.
I'm going to read a summary poem also. It's called Camerado, and I'm sure everybody knows that Camerado is what Walt Whitman, how he referred to his travel companions and possibly boyfriends. Camerado. Let's walk down this road together. The split rail fences on either side neither hem in nor keep out trespassers and wandering worms. Cornflowers grow on the verge, a pleasing blue. Listen to the birds serenade us and the lazy bees, fat with nectar, buzzing around our bare shoulders. This sunlit moment seems endless, though the woods beyond the fields are dark and wild roses threaten the fences. Be my partner on this flawless day. Share sunbeams and warm breezes, sing pop songs with me as we walk past ponds stocked with bullfrogs, past red barns and white houses, like images from holiday cards, but without snowdrifts covering the meadows like eider downs. Glide alongside me in jelly shoes. My brain will retain your dark beard, your turquoise beads, and frayed jeans. There are no gales or tornadoes in the forecast. The two of us treading this sculpted continent before the dawn of smartphones, breathing unfiltered air.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now we're gonna have the features 1 and 2, and then we're going to go on a break. And then after the break, we're going to have feature number 3. And then we'll have the rest of the open, who will be Peter, Donald, Jack, Margaret, Dorothy, Sharon, Lynn, myself, and Roxy. Okay, so we're going to bring on Keisha. Keisha, let me just make this I'm just full screen. Okay, very good. Okay, we're gonna bring on Keisha Gay Anderson. Keisha Gay Anderson's writing has appeared in national publications like Honey, Psychology Today, Teen People, and Black Enterprise, covering topics from women's health and depression to intimate partner violence. In 2018, Keisha was selected as a Brooklyn Public Library Artist in Residence. And her newest poetry collection, A Spell for Living, received the Editor's Choice recognition of Agape Editors Editions 2017 Numinous Origins, Luminous Origin Contest Poetry Contest. Keisha's poems have been published in major literary journals like Renaissance Noir, African Voices, Mosaic Literary Magazine, the Mom Egg Review, and many others. She has graced the stage as a featured poet at historic venues like Cornelia Street Cafe, Bowie Poetry Club, Brooklyn Conservatory of Music, Weeksville Heritage Center, and the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Let's give a warm Brownstone welcome to Keisha Gay Anderson.
Well, hello. It is such a pleasure to be here. It was lovely hearing all of your poems. I really enjoyed that. And thank you, Patricia, for inviting me. And I just want to say it's so important to have these kinds of gatherings as much as possible so that we can, encourage each other and keep sane and remind each other that we're not participating in all the madness out there, and just keep sharing your artistry. It's really important. You never know who's going to hear your work and who might be inspired, to do the same, or you might even save someone's life. You never know. Okay, so I'll read from a few. See, I have 3 books, so I'll start with this one. This one is called, can you see it? Maybe not.
A little bit further away.
Well, anyway, it's called Everything is Necessary. There it is. This is my second poetry collection, and I will just jump right in. I'm practicing reading poems that I don't often read because we kind of always do the same things over and over again. This is called Somnambulism. This somnambulism, life in objects, riding the rapids of currency, gorging on a daily glut of screens that trains sight to shrink, hypnotizes, scatters me, severed from the cause now so distant I can't recall my descent into this bramble, a circuit of drills for a war drawn into my skin. I need a different kind of being, above the rainbow, under the wellspring, within every drop of warm ocean mist. I miss the knowing that can see through any shape and still remember its way back home, fold effortlessly into the music that makes mountains and orchids, holds the fullness of black night in place so that we may at once go in, feel the grandeur of the whole, of stillness, of being, of the point of performance that moves across the grid through years and voices, just to find a mirror and remember, yes, I am everything and I am enough. Right. Yay. I'm kind of glad, that Zoom popped up during the pandemic, because I've met so many great people from all over that I would not have otherwise met if we didn't have this technology. All right, let's go into age. We can't stop it, but we don't have to be miserable. We should be happy. I said recently in a video, whenever Maya Angelou was interviewed and they said, like, what age is the best age? Like when she was older, she's like, the age I am now. And I wish everybody could have that attitude, and we would just be so much more, more productive and happy. So age should expand the iris of your name into a doorway that lets the light blazing, that lets the blazing light splintered through darkness come into clearer view. Years should bloom you like a field of freesias under the sun of your mind, unfurl you into one of the beautiful things in time. oh, sorry guys, your journey in bone and skin should mark a firmly trodden path into clay, make a way toward home for those lost in the thicket. We should not just grow up, but grow in, study the sound that spawned the stars. We are uncoiling toward the greatest understanding of the grandest idea, just to know how fire exploded from blackness into a heartbeat, a grain of corn, an ocean tide, laughter. Age is tempering us into the perfect shape of the divine. Yes, yes. My daughter, she's 17. Like, she's my little, my broke best friend. I didn't create that, but like, you know, that's something I heard people say. My favorite broke best friend. She's like, "What are you mumbling?" And I was saying this poem. I said, "I'm gonna read this poem." She's like, "Okay, I'm making sure you're not losing it, mom." But I said, I definitely want to share this with you today because the title of this book is Everything's Necessary, and that's the title of this poem. And this came out of me sort of shouting out into the void or the universe, like, what the hell? Like, you know, when we have problems, it's just like you learn it's not productive to ask why me, because everything is just happening, you know? And some of these things, even though you don't like them, you find in hindsight are necessary to reroute you or to launch you into some other direction. So we have to have the right attitude about things so we can endure. That is my understanding. Everything is necessary, required to be, is just is, how you see is up to you. Are you pink and green caladium, a field of hearts in bloom, bowing beneath the rust gold gown of a redwood tree, or are you misery? A spirit cemented to the stone walls of its temple, crumbling and crashing onto every mirror that enters, forgetting that all you are is we, a thousand-petaled flower rocking in the breeze called time. The symphony of lives is merely 1 second, one breath, to the great mind dreaming these colors in every shape that blooms in the galaxies. Your mission is to see. Know that this is a cradle and we are an infant with infinite eyes. We are dancing droplets falling from the one big sky that speaks everything into a whirlpool, a black spool of sound that moves us like the ecstasy of lovers becoming one body, one melody. You are to sing until you have no more breath. Enjoy this vantage point now. The only death is insisting that your eyes stay shut. See clearly before time's up. So thank you. Okay, watching the time. And yeah, a lot of this book, that's why I put myself on the cover. This is me as a child, like coming to this country. I was born in Jamaica and, you know, I'm seeing everything happening now. And it's crazy because I've been here since I was 3. I've never lived in Jamaica. And I just think about all of the chaos and, you know, it's just, you just got to roll with it, you know? All right. I think I'm going to move on to, well, I always read this poem. It's called Ancestors. And a lot of my work is about lineage, spirituality. I actually led a workshop this morning at 6:30 a.m. all about memory and utilizing, let me put my do not disturb. I'm getting really cute baby pictures. My nephew's 8 months. I mean, he's so cute, but they keep texting me. First camping trip. Oh my God, it's so cute. Hold on. All right. But yes, I think a lot about how we are connected, and I really encourage people in the writing process to, you know, think about the stories you were told in your family and really like critique those things and look for the holes and ask questions, because we're just handed these stories and we're just, you know, handed this path, and you really have to figure out who you are. It's so important. Ancestors. Well, you wanted to look into the dark, didn't you? So don't curse these eyes. We gave them to you and sent you to straighten the bends in these steel tracks that link all of our names, rusted under salt water, buried beneath bundles of cane. Sing songs into candle flame for these bones of mine that now reach through you, stand you into 6 feet of woman. They have not forgotten how to brace against the lash or bend backward for the bembe. Each day we move with you, can't you hear? We are riding the rhythm that beats these words through your center. You beg us to enter, but we never left. We is me, is you, is us all now together since forever. We laugh and lift your sight towards starshine, seashells, sleeping poetry in every alley and piston corner. We tune your ears to the footfall of predators who stroke their loneliness to the bowline of your lips. You wanted to know, not believe. So see it all here and build a ladder with these visions that lift us up one by one, hand over hand, after birth to under dirt. We listen with you, roll slow up this mountain that needed us to tumble down, break ground, and move things. So look here, kill your fear, open these eyes, pull us back together, and march us home. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I'm gonna move on to A Spell for Living. This is my latest book. This is my art. This book contains all of my artwork. As you can see, I tried to pair them with the poetry. I'm also a visual artist, and that was a fun exercise. And I tell my students all the time, I teach in different places, but I say, what shape does your intelligence want to be? And whatever it wants to be, that's, you know, you can't force it into a sonnet if that's not what it wants to be. All right. This is called Black is Not Enough. Black is not enough to go by, is too narrow a space, too clumsy a way to reveal you. Don't you see your place up high along the winding trail of lights resting on mother's neck? Can you name all the shapes of your intelligence that sometimes, when it feels like, splashes over the brim of infinity to condense as jazz, a dance of colors at 5 points, Denzel's deep sea eyes, and our snaking hips to the dance hall rhythms, dip, 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 dip. Unleash your ecstatic laughter for this joyous walk through time and mirrors, where you can love you as us as all of this. Salt foam under a lavender sun, the jubilant tale of your familiar. A warm kiss of wind in a glade exploding with new life, the sweet sacrifice of guiding the next navigator of your blood. Black is not enough is too dim an idea, too minuscule a name for us. Yeah, as I think about my familiar, my little, Patricia, remember my cat? My kitty passed away last month. I'm so sad. I love that cat. Yeah, she had cancer, you know, so, and not to bring you all down, but I love that cat. I had her for 14 years, and I had an appointment because she had a tumor, and I had an appointment for the Monday to put her down, and then on Saturday she went on her own. I know. And I said it out loud. I was like, I don't want to have to do this. I wish she would just like go to sleep. And so she did. That's what she did. Oh, baby. All right. Let me watch the time. So let's go over to this book. I sent this poem after the 2016 presidential election in a binder full of poems with Split This Rock and a bunch of poets who wanted to respond to the election. So maybe my name's on a list. Who the hell cares? But we mailed it to the White House. And here we are again. But this is called Day After 2016 Presidential Election. After this day, you will not make a fetish of what you call my poverty. The stable you built for me to walk in circles, servicing machines that push food down your bottomless gullet. We are done dancing on your stage. We will no longer compress the fire of our stars netted in flight, diverted down into dirt to illuminate the cave that is your mind. We are to redeem you, but only if you let go of skin and rejoin a journey of knowing. Admit that you are blind, out of tune, sleepwalking, insane, and we will take you back, recalibrate the crooked parts. Or you can dissolve down here, fodder for the next idea spun by the mind whose night terror unfortunately took on your face. Makes no difference. We were never part of this race to nowhere, and soon we will be going home. All right. Let me see, a couple more. This one I wrote when Freddie Gray was murdered. There are so many people's names I can't keep track, but that one in particular, my son is 20 years old, and it just really, it really affected me. They all affected me, but this call for Freddie Gray and all those murdered by state violence. Me, my, mine. What? You will all expire, whether your spine is crushed in 9 places or your body just runs out of breath. And right after your death, some other voice talking through dirt shaped into skin will walk on electric currents to the timer ticking down the days while singing the same damn song you did. A solo called Ego, composed in a state of amnesia. And then what? Grass will still grow, snow will still fall. Life will still turn itself inside out through the mouths of every creature formed from a similar equation to yours. Why not move something? Why not change the melody? Tune the voices to the thrashing branches bowing in March breeze. Train them to sing like the dots of green bravely stretching skyward into the unknown. There is nothing to own. There is only to see and understand why you came, that there are others here, that they are your air and you are their water. God is not out there, but everywhere in each other. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So I have 2 more. Yeah, I'll end on these. This is called Be Fabulous, and it is my directive to human beings. Come on now. Be fabulous. I mean, stand up and say, I am without words. Know that you are moonlight pushing aside the night, a hearth warming chests into a wave of motion when grief slowly siphons breath. No need to scream about what is not or lament the crazy of they, the oldest tale of hungry chasing its tail. We are older than all of that. Before the buying and selling, reluctant or not, we are creators of culture, purveyors of cool, distilled diamonds, ditching the dirt of 1,000 long marches through manacles, cane, and cotton. Assembly lines, back doors only, first name nannies, wet nurses whose own children rocked with rickets, medical guinea pigs, men who are always boys, who are made the blame for a leaky economy built like a sieve in seismic ground. We've been around long enough to know that no man put salt in the ocean, that Nat Turner was speaking to God himself as himself, and then made those 2 selves agree to proceed with an overdue lesson. We are to lead, even reluctantly, because time breathes in and out on a scale the mind can't measure, but which the soul sees and plots a journey of light, sound, color, vibration, a path up and out for those trapped inside the smallness of things, a gracious door of salvation out of ignorance. So don't spend any time trying to convince me or her or them you're fabulous. Just be who you already are. Right. I am going to end. So I'm super excited that my poem was published early June in Academy of American Poets, poets.org. Omatara James curated. She was the guest editor that month, and she selected my piece. And it's a very short poem, so I am going to read it. It's called We Dreamed You, and there's an audio recording of it on the website. And the poem is in conversation with Urban Music by Sekou Sundiata, and you can listen to that whole album. He's the late Sekou Sundiata, fabulous musician, poet. But this is from a line, in the poem where he says, we dreamed you. It's from the ancestor's perspective. I see her face when my lids surrender to the limits of this battered body, and it makes the cane ash sting less in my throat. She has fat brown cheeks, red satin ribbons floating on fluffy plaits. She hums, tra la 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 la, so sweet, like a sugar in a plum. She skips along a carpet of flamboyant petals, red like the rose apple she nibbles on an already full belly. laughter like a bird song, no thick memory whatsoever of who sent her into this future, finally free. And that's it.
Thank you so
you.
much. Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Able to
Appreciate it.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Keisha. We have one more feature before we go on a 50-minute break, and we return with the last feature and the rest of the open. Okay. Chocolate Waters is a continuously evolving radical feminist poet and celebrant of the new power of the feminine. She began performing her work in the mid-70s and has toured throughout the US and parts of Canada. Her first 3 books of poetry are considered classics of the second wave, and her latest book, Melting in Your Mouth, the early work of Chocolate Waters, Sinister Wisdom, is now available. There are 2 earlier collections, The Woman Who Wouldn't Shake Hands, Poets Wear Prada, and Muddying the Holy Waters, Eggplant Press. Chocolate currently conducts poetry workshops at the Woodstock Senior Center in Times Square and tutors individual clients. Check out what she's up to at www.chocolatewaters.com. Let's give a warm Brownstone welcome to Chocolate Waters.
There, I'm unmuted. Hello, everybody. It's nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Patricia and Roxy. I have 3 books that are in print, and I'm going to do a couple of pieces from each one. The one that is the newest is actually the one that Patricia mentioned, called Melting in Your Mouth, and it's the early work of my early work. It's my first 3 books, which were published between 1975 and 1980. And it was the height of the women's movement and the second wave of feminism. So I kind of call this era my stomping radical dyke days. We were all very, very angry at that time, and we had a right to be, of course. Anyway, I'm just going to do a couple of these, and the first one I'm going to start with is called Feminine. Feminine. The word has become hateful. It reminds you of little girl voices, clutch purses, ankle bracelets, clean underwear in case you get hit by a truck. Feminine. The word has lost its woman, its essence, its puissance. I once knew what that word meant, but I don't remember. Its delicious smell. It reminds you of deodorant sprays, of female troubles, of not enough iron in the diet. Feminine. The word has become déclassé. They scorn it in classrooms, in locker rooms, in gay men. They scorn it in political matters and in women's bars. Feminine. The word has lost its noblesse, its butchiness. Feminine. The word has lost its balls. Okay. All right, thank you. This next one is called First Woman, and it was published in an anthology called My Lover is a Woman by Ballantine Books, and some of you may know Leslie Ann Newman. She was the editor of that book. So my first woman poem. First woman, your name was not Eve. You did not offer me apples. You touched me, I quivered, then suffered, then regretfully threw up. I denied you more than 3 times. You confessed to your priest who laughed. You confessed your love to me. I did not laugh when you threw me out of your life like an apple. I wrote you a love song with a man's name instead of yours. First woman, your name was Sharon. I sprang half grown from the touch of your first woman's hands. Thank you. This one published by Poets Wear Prada. Da, 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 da. And it's called The Woman Who Wouldn't Shake Hands. So I'm going to do a couple from here too. Let's see, where I got to start with this one. Okay. Okay, this is phone vodka, like phone sex, without the sex, like vodka with ice over the phone. Two women, two souls, conversation, sacred, profane, with olives or without, and in between, worlds. And in between, lots more vodka, actually. All right. Okay, this one is called, what is it called? Dangerous. The Woman Who Wouldn't Shake Hands, by the way, is basically about, it's a takeoff on Diane Wachowski's, one of her early books called The Man Who Shook Hands. And she had slept with him. And when he left the next morning, he shook her hand. So she got an entire book of poems out of that, which I thought was pretty cool. So I got a chapbook out of The Woman Who Wouldn't Shake Hands. Okay, this is Dangerous. First glance, she's incredible, strong and funny, quite intelligible. Second glance, she gets funny, scrape the surface, not delicious, she turns vicious. First glance, she's incredible. I think one more from here. Yeah. And this one is Desire. Chopped down like the tree that crashes in the forest. What's the sound? Desire makes as it comes, crashing down as it never gets to come. As it crashes down, do you hear the sound? Desire doesn't get to make. All right. So much for her. Some of you know who she is too, but that's all right. Okay, this is my a book that I came out with in 2021. It took me 2 years to write this, and it's kind of a people call it a poetic memoir, and it's like a story actually. It's in 3 parts, and unlike most poetry, it is meant to be read from start to finish, or at least from section to section. So I'm going to do a couple of these, and if you can see, I don't know if you can see the Muddying the Holy Waters. This is me with my back in front of the United Methodist Church. And on my shirt, it says Poetry Slut. So this is Muddying the Holy Waters. All right. Okay. You know, I did have these in order somewhere. What I was going to do, but do I remember? No. All right, I have a tendency to, like I said, this is a autobiographical. I mean, you can't make this shit up, you know. And I have a habit of naming names, which gets me into a lot of trouble sometimes, but it is what it is, and it isn't what it isn't, yes. So the last section is poems about my family, and this one is about my brother, Bob. And maybe some of you can relate to a brother like this. I wish you'd have been my big brother, Bob. You were a germ of a person when you confessed your sins at the altar of the Baptist Church in Jacksonville. I was 2 years older and outraged. What the hell did you have to confess? knew then I'd never be a Christian. We called you Butterball, chubby cheeks, blonde curls. When we moved to Virginia, I protected you from neighborhood bullies, but I beat the crap out of you instead. One day, you grew up, punched me back, became an oak tree, kept the same job, chemical engineer at Armstrong, forever. Married your high school sweetheart, thought you'd stay with her forever, but she left, and you hoarded cats. 17 at last count. The ones who love you, these cats and Jesus. Every Sunday, you're a devout evangelical liturgist, booming, sonorous voice, beloved by the congregation. You are terrified of me, pagan dyke poet, telling my truth in a bar, as I am of you, good Christian, telling yours in a church. I don't know if you can see this. Here's my brother in the church that he speaks in. But okay. He's never read that poem, by the way. My family doesn't read my work. They know better. Okay, all right. This is called Burning Down the Barn. And in this one, I did actually use people's initials rather than their whole names. But I usually use their whole names. It may be time that I can use these people's initials now, or real names now. So it's called Burning Down the Barn. Second here. Sorry. Burning Down the Barn. MK and S said, I burned it down. The one in Mount Joy, where Bachman's chocolate factory used to be. First cousins, my heroes. I was 8. They were 5 years older. Flicking your cirrets like a big person. Camels I stole from Uncle Carl. Stubby, unfiltered, we smoked ecstatically. Chewed dentine on the way home. Drenched our hands in loud perfume. 15 minutes later, explosion. Barn overwhelmed by sudden flames, 3-alarm fire, or was it 4? Ear-splitting trucks, miles of hoses, parapets of water, people rushing breathlessly. Run, lady, run, whooped M, the smart ass, not realizing the woman was running to our burning barn. The 3 of us stood silent on the sidelines, innocent as the gum in our pockets, until M's boyfriend, D, showed up. You did it, didn't you? The cousins sat me down, stern warnings, adult admonitions. You were never there. None of us was there. They'll send us to a home. That night, I lied to my mom, Aunt Maud, anyone who'd listen, where I'd been, who I was with, what we were doing, though no one ever asked. 60 years later, the names are disguised. I think it's even longer than that. 65 years later, the names are disguised except my own and Uncle Carl's and Aunt Maud's, who are dead and don't care. Those 3 impudent kids, the blazing barn, smoke, conflagration. Run, lady, run. That home still waiting for me. How are we doing on time? I lose track of it.
I understand. It's now 3:17 and you have like about 3 more minutes.
Okay, all right. So if I have 3 more minutes, then I'm going to end with a cat poem. For all us cat lovers, and I'm one of them. Oh, yay. Lots of hands for the cats. Yes, okay. Okay. This is from the section of my book called Dead Animals. And it's about all the animals that I lost growing up. And I blame a lot of that on my neglectful parents, which I talk about in this book also. Transformation. It's on the departure of Scruffo the Wonder Cat. My grief spills out upon the earth as endless as the journey of the fool. Of all the doubts that I have had since leaping off the cliff that was my life, of all the deaths that I've been through, since landing in New York with just a suitcase and my Scruffo cat beside me, no single one has broken my determination to become my best of selves, like Scruffo's death has cracked my walking stick in two. Not the loss of all my lovers and my friends, not the loss of the city that harbored me a decade, or the loss of humor, my muse, or the sidewalk sales of my possessions, or the theft of all my jewels. So why should the death of this old scruffy cat turn my eyes into mountains and my heart into the thistle of a rose? Because for 7 years he loved me, that's all. And I loved him back. And with his death, he told me, sever your connections with the limitations of the self. Sever your connections with the past. Then soar into the moment like a fool. Thank you. These are available at Amazon.com. This one is not quite officially out. If you contact me, I'll give you a decent price or an indecent price. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Great, great feature so far. We're going to go into our 15-minute break, and when we come back as soon as Roxy gives me the high sign, we're going to start. We're going to have the third feature, Mia S. Willis, and then we're going to have the rest of the open. Let's read the list: Peter Kozlowski, Donald Baer, Jack Cooper, Margaret Sirocco, Dorothy Cantwell, Sharon Silva, Lynn Shapiro, myself, and Roxy. Enjoy. Go have yourself a cup of coffee or tea, ice something cold, or water, and sandwich. Yogurt. Enjoy. Okay, as I just mentioned, this is like the last reading until October. On October 25th, we're going to have Alan Semerjian, Elizabeth Moss, Phil Linz, and Bertha Rogers as our features. And on December the 6th, we're going to have the Brownstone Poets Anthology. I'm going to be working on it as during the hiatus. I'll be working on it and getting it out to everybody. Information to come. But on July 12th, at the New York Poetry Festival on Governor's Island, Brownstone Poets will be at 1 p.m. at the Algonquin stage. We're going to have Mega Sood read, Carrie Magnus Wagner read, Rescue Poetics, and David Deffy. They'll be the featured readers, and I'll be introducing everybody with my one poem and information to come. And I'll be working on this after the election because I'm tired. Anybody else got shameless plugs? Please share.
I'll be doing the Bright Hill gig this Thursday night, which is the one that Bertha Rogers is associated with. They do it on Zoom now. And I used to go to it many years ago in like 1996 when it was at Bertha Rogers and her husband Ernie's home. So it's one of my favorite gigs. I'm sorry they have to Zoom it. I would prefer to go and stay at their Bright Hill Community Center. Anyway, that's this Thursday, 7 o'clock. So hope to see some of you there.
On July 12th, about an hour after Patricia has read at the Algonquin stage during the Poetry Festival, Artful Dodgers will be reading at 2:30 also at the Algonquin stage. So hang around and we hope to see you there. A short ferry ride from Manhattan or Brooklyn and a relaxing way to put the city behind you.
Amazon came. Put everything in the Costco closet. This stuff is amazing. Hey guys, anybody on, you can unmute and talk. Hey Cindy, I'm having my pineapple drink, pineapple lime with mint.
That sounds great.
Very refreshing, ice cold. I made it last night. Cindy, you're muted.
Oh, I said that looks good. I just had water. Lots of water. And yeah. And my room has air conditioning, my bedroom, not the living room.
I don't love that you were here.
But it's good reading.
Thank you. This is good for the electrolytes.
Patricia, are you working Monday or Tuesday? I'm supposed to get close to 100 degrees.
I'm not working Monday because I have to go to bed early because I'm working the polls. I have to be there at 5 a.m. in the morning.
That's Tuesday, right? Yeah.
And they're sticking me with the damn table.
Ooh.
I really prefer to. I was trained for the scanner. Now they're sticking me back on the tables. Ever since our manager retired, this new person's sticking me on the table. I'm gonna complain to her again.
What site are you at?
I'm at PS 163 in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't know where the PS.
This is Brooklyn. This is South Brooklyn. Way South Brooklyn.
Know that.
Public in Brooklyn.
Public in Brooklyn.
Know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, this is like even it's not all Italian because you got people who are Latinos voting for, because I see in the windows they're putting up Republican signs for city council.
Wow.
I mean, it's because they're immigrants doesn't mean they're going to vote Democrat. When I worked as scanner, I saw them coming through. Half and half were Republican, and it's getting worse. This used to be more Democrat. Now it's going. It's crazy.
I had this discussion with a friend of mine. It's all about closing the door behind you.
Ooh.
I had this whole discussion with a friend of mine, you know, who was grandparents were immigrants, you know, at the turn of the century, the 20th century. And we had this whole discussion. And I said, you know, hey, Vin, your parents come over on the Mayflower? You know, your
I don't know.
ancestors
Maybe they
come
want
over
to
on the
fit in.
Mayflower?
Maybe they want to fit in
They forget,
because
they
they want to
forget
get
where
too
they come
white.
from. They forget the horrific attitude of the most of the Americans
The Irish.
that
people
that
didn't want
that
the Irish
mistreated the Irish, the Italian,
and
and,
Jewish
and the
people.
They weren't
Jews,
treated. They
right,
weren't
right,
treated as
right.
white, and
Like
now
dirt,
everybody
like
wants to be
dirt.
white.
People forget about the
Considered they're dog, you know, considered as dogs, as vermin, called every name in the book, and it's only a generation or two away. How could you forget? How could you forget?
Yeah, I know.
It's true. We never had a president who was this unqualified racist, and I mean they all had the even, you know, compared to Trump, George W. Bush was a statesman. And
I cursed him out.
Wasn't he?
I used to curse out Bush, but not anymore.
Yeah, me too. But at least he loved this country and he loved the people in it.
Right.
He had the good sense to shut up about who he didn't like.
Don't forget, Bush tried an immigration policy, and he had one. He had a bilateral immigration policy too that was shot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nixon looks good now.
Hey, Nixon.
Nixon does look good now. What he
Nixon looks
did,
like a part-time grifter.
What he
So does
did,
Ronnie. So does Ronnie.
the crimes he committed were child's play compared to this.
This number 30, the 34 counts and rape. He's a rapist and
Yeah, he's going to go down in the history books
the
with
worst
Andrew
president.
Jackson as being one of the worst presidents.
Yeah, Jackson. I thought Jackson was the worst.
Depends on who writes the history book. You know,
Yeah.
that's like saying, well,
Yeah, they kept out a lot of chapters in the history books. I mean, I'm going to be reading a poem, I mean, about the 90s. How we didn't know what the hell is really going on because they kept it from us. The truth.
This is not sustainable for 4 more years.
No. Something has to go. I mean, either we're going back to 1939 or we have to go to 1787.
No, he has to go. When the Democrats win back the House and Senate, they have to impeach him. And vote.
They have to get rid of everybody. It was really Kamala who won.
Never gonna happen.
Because what's his name? Thank you, Elonia. He messed around with it
It wasn't only Elon, it was the stupid people of America. A lot of stupid.
Cindy, I think you're dreaming because the Democratic Party is so torn into pieces.
I know.
They'll never pull it together. It's only a plus away.
But I agree, but I think the tide is turning a little against.
I'm not so sure.
Well, because of, you know.
California and New York,
I hate to be a pessimist, but fascism seems to be the trend around the world.
Right, Roxanne.
Not just in
yes, she's right.
It's a global issue.
Yeah.
There are tyrants everywhere.
Yeah. Italy.
Right. And the warmongers are everywhere. We're back to some kind of primitive human being, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I really
Yeah,
feel like the world is coming to the end. You can already see it with the weather. You know, everything is just falling apart.
yeah. It's just a shame that the innocent people are being hurt, and women have lost our status here.
Everyone's being hurt. Polar bears are being hurt. Their
Right.
ice caps are melting.
Animals, right? They're gonna go and stink.
I don't know.
Time for an alien invasion. What can I say?
Where the hell are they? I just found out on TikTok. I listen to this stuff sometimes. They say the Galactic Federation. They were just removed. They were fired. I said, "Oh wow!" Because they were hard lines. They had no emotion. So now they're going to replace them with people who feel emotions, like the Palladians and the Lyrans. What the hell's going on? Because they're not supposed to interfere. I mean, excuse me, the world's gone to shit. Fucking aliens, come on. Wake up.
Why do you assume they're any better than we are?
Probably the same shit. And now I heard other things that the aliens created the human race.
Right.
We have like part alien genes in us, whatever. A lot of stuff that's going around here. So, okay, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, I know a lot of people with alien genes.
And aliens come isolate. Maybe that's the only way to get rid of ice. That the real aliens come down.
Can you buy
Sounds like
the
a brand.
No.
Alien genes.
Keisha, if you're still here, your comment in the chat reminded me. I read a fabulous book. It's very old, many years ago.
Mhm.
But if you get a chance to read it, it really is a picture of human nature.
Mhm.
It's called How to Swim with the Sharks.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
It was
yeah.
from Jerry De La Femina, who was a big shot in the advertising industry. He left it to have a restaurant someplace out in the island. But he was starting out in the ad business, and they could fire you on a hat. You know, if you didn't produce, you'd be gone. So he said, brand new, and they came to his company with the first cars from Japan after the war. It was like 1950, 49. They wanted to start selling Japanese cars in the US. So they came to his ad company to develop a slogan, an ad, you know, for the Japanese cars. Nobody wanted to touch it. You know, who's going to promote Japanese cars 4 years after the war ends, right? So he was given the job, and he comes in, and the Japanese representatives are there.
I think we're going to have to go.
Okay, so I'll finish it later.
Oh, so now I'm like hanging on the edge of the. Well, put it in the.
Did you want to finish the story, Roxy? What do you think?
To finish the story, Roxanne,
finish the
turn it
story.
off. He came up with a slogan, and he says, "Toyota, from those wonderful folks who gave you Pearl Harbor." Immediately thrown out, and he said, "What you have to remember is never forget how to take the subway back to Brooklyn." Because you can be dumped over, you know, all these people, MAGAs that are on top of the world now, you know, never forget that it could happen to you too.
Well, I just want to say one thing. We'll be under 60 seconds. I want to say that if most Americans really understood the totality of American history, including the experience of African Americans, you would not be surprised at anything, because all of these comparisons to Handmaid's Tale and all these things happen to Black women and Black people. All this stuff has already happened. The Namibia,
absolutely,
the Herero people were the test run for the Holocaust. That's a fact. So I think we need to.
Yeah.
Nothing happening is new or surprising. That's all I'm going to say.
And they kept the information from us. That's what's bad. Now it's coming out.
Right.
And Keisha, they're removing all of this from the textbooks.
Right.
In a lot of the schools. It's absolutely criminal.
It's imperative that
they're taking away the holidays.
people need to talk to each other and learn from each other. And I think, you know, a lot of people in my experience they were like, did that happen? Or they didn't believe me. And there's still that wall. So I think until people get over that, we're not going to go anywhere, because these things did happen. you know? Anyways,
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
I understand. Okay. I think we better get
Well
back.
said. Bravo.
Okay.
Bravo,
Is the
bravo.
recording on?
We need to
Is the
get back to
recording
the
on,
reading.
Roxanne?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Okay, great. Hi, welcome back to the second part of Brownstone Poets. We made this far. Okay, we still have more excitement to come. We're going to start with the last speaker, Mia S. Willis, and then after she reads, we're going to have the rest of the open, who will be Peter Kozlowski, Donald Bear, Jack Cooper, Margaret Sirocco, Dorothy Cantwell, Sharon Silva, Lynn Shapiro, myself, and Roxanne. Now we're going to have the feature. Mia S. Willis is a Black queer poet, popular educator, and a cultural historian from Charlotte, North Carolina. The poetry has been featured by Academy of American Poets, the Slowdown, Muzzle Magazine, the Offering, the Minnesota Review, and others. Mia is a Master of Fine Arts student at Randolph College and the author of Monster House, JLA Books, the 2018 winner of Cave Canem's Toy Derocote and Cornelius Eady Chapbook Prize. Their debut collection, The Space Between Men, Penguin, was a winner of the 2023 National Poetry Series competition. Connect with Mia on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Poet in the Hat. Let's give a warm Brownstone welcome to Mia S. Willis.
Hello, friends, Romans, countrythens. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to Patricia and Roxanne for having me. I hope that you all can hear me. I'm in the space that's got a few high ceilings, and so I want to make sure that I'm not bouncing off and competing with the sound. So if at any point you cannot hear me, feel free to drop in the chat or raise a hand, and I will adjust my audio. So let me get my time started. I am, as Patricia said, I'm from the South, and there have been a multitude of strange happenings that have taken place in the South over the course of the last few years that I have been sort of documenting from my perch as a Black queer person. I was living in Florida for a while, and I wrote this poem about something that happened in Florida. Oh my goodness, am I getting background? Here I can try to move. I might need a second to do that, but if you all can still hear me, I'll mute and then go somewhere else. Give me one moment. Okay, here's hoping that is a little bit better. I apologize, friends, for that very brief aside, but I have returned to you. So as I was saying, I am from the South originally, and some strange happenings have sort of taken place over the course of my time living in the South. And so I wrote this poem in 2019. Maybe you'll be familiar with the event that this poem is talking about, but it was very strange, and I decided, well, why not? Let's give it a chance. So on December 7th, 2019, Georgian performance artist David DeTuna entered the Art Basel Miami exhibition, removed an artwork valued at $120,000 from the gallery wall, and ate it. This is an ode to the hungry artist, the parable of the Great Banquet. Mere days after we paid our respects to Chairman Fred, we sat on the stoop, slack-jawed as a man ate a $120,000 banana, sucked our teeth and mused that the hunger's gonna kill us first. 60-second science class in the self-checkout. Appetite, like energy, cannot be lost, only change its form, so in my stomach, pockets are empty. I bite the Armani gloved hand that feeds me. Question. If the ancestors were sharecroppers living in Eden on credit, what was the price of the apple? Question. If we still have not tired of tilling the fields without tasting the fruit, what is the value of our heads? In the year of our Lord 2019, Jesus walked into a brightly colored spectacle, peeled forbidden yield, let teeth break skin into bleeding, performed a miracle, then smiled as the centurions led him away from shocked public. Peace so still, it shows the cruelty in starving, commands its witnesses to go forth, multiply. So I don't know if it is apparent, but I, as a Southerner, I grew up Southern Baptist and I grew up in the church. And so really so much of my understanding of myself came from that upbringing, came from the understanding that the body is sacred, that things that nourish the body are sacred, and that care for other bodies is just as sacred. And so to see a man then come in and eat a banana that had been valued at $120,000 just right before our eyes was absolutely astounding to me. And his point obviously was that, his point being honestly that there are homeless people, there are starving people right outside of this exhibition, and I get to walk in here and just eat this banana because you valued it at $120,000. So it was an incredible moment for me to sort of witness that and try to understand it and get my head around it as a struggling grad student who couldn't afford anything at the time. Watching this man eat that banana really kind of unlocked something for me. So I will move then. I'm reading these poems out of my latest book, The Space Between Men. You can pick it up really anywhere. That's the cool thing about having worked with Penguin, is that you can get it anywhere and you don't have to get it from me. So I encourage you, if you have a favorite bookstore, you should ask them about it and make sure that they grab one for you, because they're all really nice to request it. So my next poem, it's mentioned in my bio, but I am a Black queer person, and that is something that has been its own dance to navigate throughout my life. One could almost say that it's a ballet. And so this next poem is a bop. It is an African-American poetry form created by Afa Michael Weaver. And it is a poem where you have a refrain that is essentially an answer to a problem that you've been trying to solve. And the poetry form is a lot of fun. And so I'm going to share this bop with you. It's called The Body Ballet. I sit upright in my bed under spring sunrise, say the daily prayer that this body's choreography, with all its black and arabesque, with all its queer and ensemble, does not send me tumbling to the earth or to the orchestra pit of an early casket. First position. I was cast in this role, but no one taught me how to dance. The curtain rises on me at a breakfast table. Voices in the house say, Black first, développé. My Black body slouches into the chair, eats the bacon, the eggs, the slurs, the chocolate jokes, devours both the ripe and the rotten attention. My queer body has been dining in the wings for years. Échappé. Licks the grease from the plate before it disappears backstage, is told to call this empty stomach intermission so the principal can breathe. I stand on point between them. Suspended animation. Second position. I was cast in this role, but no one taught me how to dance. And here we are, act after act, hunger after hungry, penché, these bodies with my fingers gripping shoulders and silverware. I quiver on the bar between them as the sun spotlight moves. Does the audience know what it is to long for the decrescendo into silence? What to call the pouring of my blood from a gravy boat? The season of rebirth? Horace Fletcher? A phoenix with broken wings? Third position? I was cast in this role, but no one taught me how to dance. So just a very brief exploration of racial identity, gender identity there. As I said, I came up my whole life in the South. I still live there. I'm based in Atlanta. And so many important rituals have sort of come out of my time living in Atlanta. And really, I would say the chief among them is that my oldest sister, Brandy, passed away when I was about 17 years old. She was 29, and I am now her age, which is such a strange thing to think about. The idea that I am no longer someone's little sister, but in fact, you know, I don't have an older sister anymore because I'm now her age. I've caught up to her. And so I wrote this poem for all of my Earth sisters, the Earth sisters in Atlanta, the Earth sisters in North Carolina, the Earth sisters all over that I feel have kept me alive while my sister has been gone. So this poem is called Parable of the Hidden Treasure, and it's an aubade, a morning song for those who are always rising. On the days my sister's memory is an atrophied muscle, a sax player resurrects the darkest light sample. Husks, show me what you got, becomes the pot howling hymns at the kettle on the queue to Church Avenue. Family honey roasts us over woolen plats in a black girl's kitchen, stove hot, tongues sorrel sour, Kaneke lawn viands to emaciated hearts. Meta passes through dap meditation, and none of us are tender-headed here. On the days my sister's empathy hangs thick, crab boil steam clouds Ashley's windows. Asia laughs under trees in a Prospect Park sun shower, superb and inevitable. Fire envelops the temp of a joint rolled with lavender, the grandest branching only complemented by heat. We two-step across the floor in Maya's living room, transformed and overripe melody, a trap motet with massed strings. Movement 1. I forgive her for singing to me in voices not her own. Thank her for the music anyway. On the days my sister's rings are a trophy from a living made by hunting. Commerce at an end. The green line sinking into the ocean. Movement 2. I forgive myself for marking the change in her tale's narrator. Thank her for lingering to listen anyway. Ooh. Yes. Can y'all tell that I have spent a little bit of time in New York City? I was sprinkling them in there. I'm not a New Yorker, but I definitely spent some time in New York, and people that I love have spent some time in New York. So all love to you up there, you Northerners up there in the North. I'm gonna share just 2 more so that we can stay comfortable on time. And I also want to hear all these other amazing readers and hear what you all are offering to us. So I'm going to end with my Juneteenth poem because we just celebrated Juneteenth. But instead, so the context for this next one, if I can find it in the table of contents, Chocolate, you were so right that you have a list and then it flies right out of your head. So the thing that is important to know about me to understand this next poem is that before I was a poet, I was an archaeologist. My academic background is Roman archaeology outside of Italy. So I did my field work in Bulgaria, which is an amazing place, beautiful place. But if you have ever been Black in Bulgaria, you know how dangerous that place is. They have the old Nazis, not the new Nazis. I'm talking the old ones. And they go to the beach and they have the Iron Cross tattoos, and they are like very, very overt in terms of letting you know that they are Nazis. And so it was simultaneously one of the most beautiful places I've ever been and one of the most dangerous places I've ever been. And so I wanted to write about that. I wanted to explore that a little bit. And so I was doing a project where I was trying to write definitions for non-English terms that have no translation in English using a poem. And so this word is titled Hiraeth. This poem is titled Hiraeth. It's a Welsh noun, and it essentially describes the feeling of intense homesickness, this like really, really strong feeling of homesickness. So this poem is Heraith between Burgas and Varna, two Bulgarian cities. What a safety it is to be told that here, the worst you can wish on someone is poor health, shorter years, less time. To be told that the harshest curses come from using your mouth to crucify other people's bodies. How suddenly no body feels at home between your lips anymore. How you still choose to keep them astride your tongue rather than beneath your feet. What a safety it is to be brown here, to be the color of earth and have them call you soil rather than dirt. What a safety that the policemen do not reach for their guns at the sight of you, that there is no mob waiting to kick the breath from your lungs. Here, your identity is allowed to exist unordered, chaotic good, the spark of potential between the flints. Here, your body only knows alive, licks the salt from the air and holds it to your skin, does not split your wheat from your chaff, lets the joy multiply the stretch marks. And what a safety it is to be welcome here, to be a river diverted but not slowed. What a safety that here is a place you can open without a blade, like a door rather than a dam. Here, the clicking is the cab driver's tongue sliding gold fronts across teeth. The clinking is the lev coins mingling in the cup holder. Here, the only destination the man has in mind for you is home. And what a safety it is. So friends, Romans, country thems. Let me see. Let me give you, since I did have some issues, I did have some sound issues before. I'll give you a super short one and we'll cap off with Juneteenth. Thank you all so much for having me. This is so much fun. This is a short one. The Duke of York at 5 p.m. Men talk about the weather like they were born for it, or it was born for them, whichever. A bar feels like an unsavory place to write until I hear two men talking about the weather like a femme noir they unlearned how to love. I hope she stays this beautiful. I hope we get lucky. And suddenly, I must write nature an apology. Make it sound like ain't no mountain high enough. Like, give me the night. I apologize the way only a fellow femme noir can. First, often, for the men and their climate change conversations. Aware that forgiveness is buried somewhere in the Atlantic and the archaeologists are coming for that too. Familiar with all we will have to surrender before they let us rest. Friends, thank you so much for this time. I very much appreciate the invitation. I'm going to leave you with a poem that is a form that I created. It is called the Tattered Flag poetry form. It is a visual poetry form that tells two stories of liberation simultaneously. These two stories are connected by a single phrase, which I call the tatter in the middle of the poem. So it's essentially like the poems cross each other through this phrase. Thank you again so much for having me. I look forward to hearing all the other work. This poem is called Juneteenth. It is inspired by the Juneteenth and the Republic of New Africa flags. It begins with an epigraph. Small, ordinary acts can be the portals through which meaning is made. Denise Froman. The man asks, "What do you know about freedom?" So I tell him how I came out to my grandmother. Say, I am more intriguing than the violence done to me. Then I tell him how I wish I could be honest with my mother about my credit history, or anything that means anything at all. And I explain how I talk about my father more than I talk to him, because what surprise could a raindrop ever bring the ocean? And I explain how I never wonder if my partner loves me when there are biscuits in the house. Only when the man turns to walk away do I approach the truth. Is that I was born under a North Carolina wind bloated with acid, where women forge brave lacquered armor of constraint, scabbards full of toil, Slack and useless simplicity, clearing loose soil from the excavation, blood spent lavishly on an empty landscape, in my house, in my mother's house, in my mother's mother's house, a slapdash driftwood body, Charybdis waves, guileful, tempestuous. I taught myself to read the gusts by pricking my ears to their howl. Thus far, the only transliteration that fills this sail of billowing skin. When I say all the black folks here are smiling, I mean humans are the only species for which baring teeth is a sign of benevolence. I mean, ain't it funny how enamel ain't bulletproof, but we crouch behind it anyway? When I say all the black folks here are smiling, I mean all the black folks here are alive and as soft as water and eager to stay. Thank you, everybody.
Wow, wow, whoa. What a great feature group. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Roxanne, for suggesting Mia. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move back to the open. We're going to have Peter Kozlowski, Donald Bear, Jack Cooper from France, Margaret Sirocco from Portland, Dorothy Cantwell, Sharon Silber, Lynn Shapiro, me, and Roxy. Peter, take it away. Unmute and share.
Hello?
Hi.
It's called I'll Be a Noun When I Die. Tumbled, soaking, imitation life-flavored pasteurized process, standing, necklaced, smell around you desert like toe tagged. When all is still, the bike falls over. You can't look down when you're walking on the water. Reading people's minds, I'd rather have a talker. You know what you're thinking. Braceleted, awkward, not shaken, learned not to burn, frozen dairy dessert. Not stirred, stirred. God's name is a verb. So am I. My body can be a noun when I die. I can get to that later. Plenty of time. Someone is down on the tracks in some other station, identifying as a verb in a disordinary location. So we can all try being dead now for 15 minutes. Pavement pounding paused, and the infrastructure's drumming, gradually echoing down in diminishing ripples in the suddenly temporary body at rest. The universe is a verb. It keeps growing, plus it wiggles. It's not the deaths that make that sound, it's the last bit of life that rattles. And we've gone 10,000 miles since the train wheels stopped turning, because to steer clear of the black holes, you got to keep flying. Stand clear of the closing doors. Okay, now here we go. Sheol is a noun, and so is a black hole. That's it.
Thank you so much, Peter. Fantastic. Always good to hear you. Donald Bear is next. Thank you. The good Donald.
Thanks for saying that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Donald Bear, a former student of Chocolate Waters, now living in Bend, Oregon, where it's freezing 50 degrees today. If I signed up to read, it just shows how out of it I am, having just turned 80. I'm here to watch and listen to all your amazing work. Thank you. I don't have anything to read.
That's enough. Thank you, sir. Come again.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. From Paris. Mon ami.
Bonsoir tout le monde.
Jacques.
Wait,
Jacques
this
Cooper.
this is an aphorism, and it comes from something called "These Are Aphorisms," as it happens. I'll put the link on the chat in the chat. It's called transformation. How disgruntling to be anyone but what I wish and cannot.
Mm.
And this is called Junez. If anyone's heard it before, it's because I wasn't aware. I just turned, it's had a birthday. I just turned 13, and affects my memory. It's called Junez. June comes, and my soul with it, to hear the birds sing, feel the wind blow, to know that flowers bloom, fruit concatenate the chain of being. Eternity in June, but not for long. Nothing else exists besides. Summation of green leaves the thought of winter, its bare truth disguised. It's the parting glance before the axis of the earth befall and turn away, the angle that makes an angel of the sun. So annihilated is this joy. I must profit from its every blade of grass, gather each into an insouciant bouquet on which to sprawl until the dream may wake. The length of myself already placed on earth, above for now, my mind beneath the stars. Thank you.
Bon anniversaire. Fabulous. Thank you, Jack. Next up, we have from Portland, from freezing Portland, Margaret Sirocco.
Thanks, Patricia.
You're Donald.
You're
Stay
Donald.
warm.
I know, right? So this is from Voices in Italian Americana. It's called I Excommunicated Myself at Age 12. I am told to sit at a folding table after Mass and pressure congregants to sign an anti-abortion petition. I refuse. The Monsignor and I argue. He corners me in the balcony. Demanding I get signatures for their Catholic crusade was not something I could do, even at 12. He told me this was not a choice. At least that's how I remember it. Back in the 30s, my grandparents and the other Italian immigrants built this church, raised the roof, created a place to worship. This church had been my home, my sanctuary, even if priests preached here for 20 years, not counting those sent away quickly, quietly, secretly, later accused of child abuse. It could never compare to generations of families that lived and prayed in this place. But back then, I remember Monsignor yelling, gesticulating behind me, making a scene as we spiraled down the staircase from the balcony. I remember the smell of frankincense and myrrh stinging my nostrils and the surprising smooth texture of the dark polished wood handrail. As I opened the massive oak door, his voice grew distant, dissipated to a whisper. I stepped into a blue sky Sunday morning. At least that's how I remember my small act of disobedience. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, I used to be Catholic. I know this abortion thing is really too much. Okay, next up is Dorothy Cantwell. Take it away. Unmute and share. Dorothy? I guess she left. Okay. Next up we have Sharon Silva. Take it away. Welcome.
Thank you. I hadn't written for a long time, but did write this one recently. Lenape. I think of the Lenape with their wooden longhouses, with deer skins, with bows and arrows. They were here before us, paddling across the narrows in their canoes as we came over across in our blue and white Oldsmobile, riding the ferry from Brooklyn to the Goethals Bridge, feeling the waves rocking beneath us, leaving behind Bialys and Charlotte Russe and newspaper stands, going to the place we called New Jersey, but which they called after their clans, Ramapo, Watchung, Raritan, Totowa, Lenapehoking. They were here before us, gathering the giant oysters, growing beans and squash where we would grow roses and asters, hunting where we would build split levels with new, oh, it's blocked out. I think it's garages, but I don't know. But this I know. The Lenape knew what sickness was. They knew what it was like to care over months for a sick child. They knew what it was like to dig in the earth, to carry in the almost warm body of a loved one, father, mother, brother, much loved only son. The Lenape, like Jews, believed that in the beginning the world was darkness. There was only the creator God, not Yahweh, but Kishla Makurk. In the darkness, Klishla Makurk falls asleep and dreams the world into being. Earth, mountains, forest, and all the animals. We all begin in dreams, they think, and also we end in dreams. Ramapo, Watchung, Raritan, Totowa, Lenapehoking, Liebmendel, Rezo, Moshe, Yosef, Saratova. May their memory be a blessing.
Beautiful, beautiful, Sharon. Come again. Beautiful poem. Thank you for sharing. Okay, next up is Lynn Shapiro.
Well, I was going to read a more serious poem that I was in the mood for, but you mentioned, Sharon, you mentioned Charlotte Russe. So I have a silly poem.
Oh yeah, the Charlotte Russe. I remember from the
So it's from the anthology, but I think I'll read it. A shared love of a lost confection. At the kitchen table, my friend Rosie asks if I remember the Charlotte Russe. Sure, Brooklyn ambrosia, sold from street carts, candy stores, and of course, bakeries. I recall my mom's nostalgia for it and my own joy, the cherry on top, the spirals of whipped cream, the springy sponge, and the fun of pushing the cake up from the bottom to reach deeper layers. Rosie Googles pictures. Will the real Charlotte Russe please stand up? Wasn't that gâteau mentioned in the Patty Duke Show theme song? We sing along, recollecting lyrics as we go, but I'm mistaken. There's no Charlotte Russe. No, instead there's the Ballet Russe and Crepe Suzette. What a crazy pair. The look-alike cousins, not the dance or the French dessert. And I see that my oral error somehow explains why I love poetry.
Thank you. Okay. Well, next up is me, and then Moxie will end the day. Okay, I'm gonna read a little political and also bringing back the 90s, and also I'm gonna end on a very political hot scenario. This is a jazz piece. It's been a long, long time, inspired by Kitty Callan. Watching reruns of Sex and the City on Netflix activated a tug of war between the past and present. It's been a long, long time since the series was the rage of the office world. Now, too many peers reminisce about the days before the towers were taken down, before exposing the land of the free's dirty laundry. The Emerald City would rather hear sirens than the echoes of a solitary pair of Manano Blahniks on dark Manhattan streets. I never could afford these heels, but I couldn't forget the sounds of silence at loud parties or standing alone on subway platforms. The city was a marketing dream taken from fantasies found in fiction, the expectations expected at my job. But how do you explain that having it all never stopped by my desk or sent an email? No Bloomingdale makeup artist or Barney's little black dress could produce the magic to fit in. No cosmopolitan polish could cover up who I really was. We spoke the same language and I had to do all the explaining. I lacked interest in a man's world since it was a rigged video game. What worsened it, I never knew that I wore a red P for pariah. Sometimes I wonder if these people are still alive and satisfied with their charmed lives. I will never know. Or is it best to move past these stained chapters? Despite the COVID years and present administration, my fingers sharpen on the keyboard, getting opinions out. The more offensive, the better. My words reflect my progress, and the girl from the 90s deserves my respect. Her fight or flight mode earned her wings. But like her, I still wish for an egg cream kiss, realizing that some memories can be sweeter than others. And finally, in honor of Adriana Smith, say her name, say her name. It's a Senrio for her. Silence of the wombs, female incubators, dead or alive. Silence of the wombs, female incubators, dead or alive. Thank you. And Roxy, take it away.
Yeah, of course, I just lost my poem.
Oh, shoot.
So just give me a second. I don't know. I had it
take your
all
time.
set and it just disappeared. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness.
Take your time.
Yes. I really had it ready and it just vanished. All right, I'm going to read something else since I cannot find my poem. Okay. Death on the Beach After Young and Innocent, Hitchcock, 1937. Actress's bad news ex contests divorce. Eventually, flotsam furnishes girl's body like driftweed. Her heir apparent, young and innocent, impoverished, and you, is judged to be her killer. Lack of money your motive, maybe a failed love affair too. Nobody. So no other possibility or person probed, questioned all night. Where's the raincoat? She was strangled with its coat belt. Truth be told, as useless as your court-appointed attorney, veritable witnesses saw you running from the scene. X marks the spot, too soon to be her forgot, her bruised body sprawled upon the beach. You run again, back to ground zero, where you lost a coat, maybe one still in reach, to clear your name, restore her honor. May the right man hang. May the wronged one live on and on. And I'll try to find a second one. A Reckoning After Jamaica Inn, Hitchcock, 1939. Across black crystal waves, a beam of light cascades, calling, but dims as your deck disappears and everything familiar is engulfed by shadow. Fear grows to hysteria as an invisible army jumps your crew, knocks knives from helpless hands, leaving no man alive to tell of this night. Obscene with plunder and pillage, queasy from reek and running, you wretch. Struck from behind, you tumble into the sea, unable to ascend vertical columns of water. The locals greeting hardly xenodochial, yet close by, a young girl arrives to tip the scales of justice from 0 to 100. Thank you, everybody, for a lovely afternoon of poetry. The features were fabulous. The open micers were fabulous.
Thank you so much. I want to give a warm Brownstone thank you to Keisha Gay Anderson, Chocolate Waters, Mia S. Willis, my right hand, my left hand, Roxanne, the open micers, Brooklyn, the Heat Wave, Freedom, and let's keep fighting. We got to fight the good fight. We have to stop this administration. We have to stop. This is important. Get out and vote. Early voting is now until tomorrow, and Tuesday is the primary day. So please vote. Get out and vote. Very important. As long as we still have the opportunity to vote, we're going to take advantage of it, and let's fight because we are stronger than those MFers think we are, right? Thank you so much. And come back. We're on hiatus until September, but we're going to be at the New York Poetry Festival on Saturday, July 12th. We're going to have Mega Suit, Carrie Radner, Rescue Poetics, David Duffy reading. I'll be there hosting. Come back October 25th on Zoom. We're going to have Alan Shamirzian, Elizabeth Moss here, Phil Linz, Bertha Rogers, and we're going to end. I'm going to work on the anthology this summer with Roxy. We're going to have the anthology reading on Saturday, December the 6th, and that's it for the year. Stay safe and fight for justice. This is everybody has to get involved. Support. Take care of yourselves.
Ain't no justice nowhere.
We're gonna kick ass. That's what we're gonna do. Stay safe, everybody. Unmute and share. The show is over.
Oh, and
Good night,
folks,
everyone.
please sign up for Keisha's newsletter. She put the link in.
Okay.
And please support your fellow poets and writers by buying their books and going to their events and readings.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Good night.
A
Stay
wonderful
safe.
summer.
Have a great
Stay
summer.
safe.
Gonna
Hope
get
to
pretty
see you at
freaking hot,
Governor's
so
Island.
be prepared. This is for the New York East Coast area, so we're gonna burn, baby, burn. And Tommy, burn, baby, burn. Donald and his whole crew, get the hell out. Not the good Donald. The orange turd.
Okay.
Okay.
So long, everyone.
Bye.
Stay
Stay
safe.
safe.
Good Shabbos.
Yeah, good
Stay
showers.
safe and be well.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Bye. Stay safe.
Vote blue. Vote blue.
Vote blue. I mean, I already voted, but the official primary day is Tuesday. Early voting, it ends tomorrow, the 22nd, Sunday.
I got 3 calls from Andrew Cuomo this morning.
You're a popular girl.
I hung up on him.
All right, I'm gonna end the Zoom.
Okay.
All right.